Hi everyone, welcome to AI Incarnation. If you want to automate your task without writing complex codes, meet n8n, the open source workflow automation tool. And in this video, we are going through the step-by-step guide for installing n8n on your local system. So without wasting time, let's get started. There are two ways to install n8n on your local. One is through Docker, other one is through Node. Okay, let's open a command prompt. To validate, we have Node.js installed on our system. We just need to write node space -v. That will confirm the node version on our system. So it's 20.17. We are good to go. Now let's install n8n. So we need to use the npm command npm install -g n8n. Once we hit enter, it will install the n8n in our local using node.js. Okay, so once it is installed, we can just confirm n8n-v. It's 1.77.3. That's correct. That's the latest version. To just run it, we will use the command n8n and it will start. As we can see, it's running on localhost 0.0.0.0 at port number 5678. To run this, we can simply click on this and it will start a new page. That will be the login page for us. And we need to sign in with our email ID. Okay, so that's the home page for n8n. Let's start by creating a simple workflow. We'll use a simple chat application. So chat trigger. Then we will add it to an AI agent. For this AI agent, I'll be using Open Router API. So I'll be having Open Router chat model. And credentials, I'll use my API key. Let's save it. And we have different models. For this video, I'll be using any one of them. Let's say we'll use Google Gemini for now. I'll be using memory as the Windows buffer memory, and we'll save five interactions we'll save in the context. Now let's run this model. Okay, so this is a simple chat application that we built through n8n. Let's try with some other commands. What is n8n? Okay, it gave you a pretty good answer. n8n is a free and open source workflow automation platform. This okay, as we can see that the n8n is successfully running on our local. Now, okay, so now coming to the next part, that is the Docker installation. So for Docker installation, we have simple two commands. I'll give you the documentation in the description below, but for now, I'll open up a terminal. Okay, so we have the terminal here. We'll use docker run it rm p 5678. That is the default port for n8n. We'll use the same port n8n io/n8n. Okay, so we don't have any local image for n8n, so it's pulling the latest image from n8n servers. It will take some time to download this image. Once it is done, we can start using the Docker application. Okay, so this is the URL for n8n. This is coming from the Docker instance, so we need to set up our email ID and password. Once we click next, we can see this is the home page. We'll select this is for, I'm not using n8n for work. You can select anything, but For this demo, we are using that YouTube, and let's get started. I'll skip for now. Let's start building a workflow again. And so we'll create the same workflow that we did. We'll use the chat trigger to input the chat from the user. For this also, we'll be using the AI agent. And inside AI agent, we'll be using our chat model as open router chat model. We'll set up the credentials by using the same API key. And for the model part, we'll use Google Gemini. And for memory, we will be using Windows buffer memory, same context window length as 5. Okay, that's the model or workflow we can say. Okay, so this is the workflow that we have created. Let's test it out. We'll say hi again. Yeah, we got the response as hi there, how can I help you today? We'll have some other questions this time. We'll say write me a joke about AI. Why did the AI cross the road? Okay, so we got the response as why did the AI cross the road? To optimize the pedestrian traffic flow for maximum efficiency and minimize potential congestion on both sides. That's a good one. Okay, so we saw that we ran n8n through the Node.js as well as the Docker. But in the Docker part, we have one more thing that we need to check. We'll create a Docker volume so that we can integrate it with our Docker application of n8n and we can save the data that we are holding on our n8n like automations and workflow. The command will be docker volume create n8n underscore data. As we can see that the n8n data is already created. So we can use this in our Docker volume to save the data for n8n. So we'll use the same command docker run hyphen it hyphen rm hyphen p 5678 colon 5678 hyphen v n8n underscore data colon home slash node slash dot n8n n8n io slash n8n. So this time we are using the Docker volume as well so that we can save our data. If you click on this, it will open up the same thing again because we haven't saved any of the data that we have used in the previous Docker session. So we have to select everything again because the data was not stored. We have to get started and we need to create a new workflow again. So this time we'll create a workflow again and see if it is getting saved or not. So we'll use the same thing. That will be a chat trigger. I'll quickly complete the workflow using AI agent. And for AI agent, we will be using open router chat model. Credentials will be the same API that we used. Once that is done, we'll add a memory. That will be the Windows buffer memory. Context length of 5, we don't want to change it. So this is pretty much. We'll save it and run our chat model. Hi. Okay, cool. We got the response. As we can see, the workflow is saved. Now let's try to close it. Now we'll run the docker command again using the volume so that we know that we have the previous data saved on a docker volume. We'll open n8n. So as you can see, this is the workflow that we just created. So without volume, all the data that we are working will not be stored. So I would recommend that you should create a volume and then use it through n8n. Then you can save all the data that you are using on a Docker instance. In the node version, you don't want to worry about the data part because that will be automatically stored on your local. So, okay, you now have the n8n local running on your system and you have the Docker also. You can use any one of them. If you are using Docker, I would prefer you are using a Docker volume to save all your automations and workflows. Otherwise, it will get lost if you are not saving it using a Docker image. If you found this tutorial helpful, hit the like button, subscribe for more AI and automation content, and drop a comment if you have any questions. See you in the next video.